Good evening and salutations, my wine art fans. So, if you've been in my streams, I have said this multiple times that Lily is making the situation a lot worse, right? She is taking her hurt, her anger, her pain, and she's making emotional decisions on a business level. Nate is like, you know what? You should just let him have the character. This is something I've been saying in almost every live stream that I've done. I'm like, you should have just gave him the character because now you're gonna make this a lot worse. Um, as he was saying, bad PR. She's gonna, the lawyer's gonna sit there and trash you in the press. And how even Billy was like, this isn't worth it. Now, he also sits there and says that you fired him unjustly without cause. And she says something along the lines of harmony and some BS that she literally just made up off the top of her head. But I think something had to do with like harmony and work environment or some BS. And she talks about all the downsides that she would lose as far as um, giving him the character back, some of the games back, and how it would set the company back as far as their gaming division back like months and close to years. But the thing is, I'm like, boo, that's minor and compared to what he's going to wind up doing. See, the thing is, when she's talking about all the stuff that she can wind up losing because of giving him back the character, you should have thought about that before you fired him. It's point blank, period. Put on your big girl pants and be a boss chick. Instead, you decide to act like an emotional 12-year-old high school girl and do this instead. So now you got Nate that's not trying to, give you reasons not to do this. You got Billy that's like you're coming across in the press as looking like Petty Betty, and Devon is there, and she's like, "Well, Devon, what do you think?" And Devon backs her up, and Billy's like, listen, if this was anybody else, would you be still sitting there backing her on this? So when they leave, Lily's like, is it true what he said? It's like, no, I still would have backed you on this. But but he pretty much explains every single thing that Dave Benson that the three of them that the three of them have that the two of them have been sitting there saying like this is a bad idea. You don't want to do this. And he once again he's like, Heather does have a good case because you fired him without cause. You know what she says? There is cause. He cheated on me. That's not cause. That's not cause. But you know what she says that to really bring it home, and this is maybe why people are sitting there saying, "I'm Team Lily. I'm Team Lily." She says, "I'm tired of playing nice. I'm tired of playing nice." Now, one of my subscribers came in and was like, the history of her is that she's always been a nice girl and always been getting screwed over. So her deciding to take charge and fight back is the reason why he is, and he knows what I'm talking about. And a lot of people are sitting there backing her. I always sit there and make this comment sometimes, and it always makes me wonder, am I the right person to be sitting there doing these reviews? Because I tend to think more on the logical side than the emotional side. When it comes to our soaps, it's very emotional, obviously. So a lot of people's thoughts and decisions and who they back, 9 times out of 10, is based off of emotional attachment. I mean, We love these characters. We're gonna sit there and back them, good or bad. The thing with me, and I can't sit there and speak for other things, other people, but the thing for me is that, like, let's sit there and say Jason on General Hospital. I can like him, but I can still sit there and call him out on his ish. One of the things is he has a tendency of neglecting his own kids for Sonny and Carly's kids. But some people will sit there and back him regardless and not really call out on their ish. And so when I look at this situation, I'm not looking at it like, oh, well, you're being treated so wrong, so you're fighting back. It's like, no, I get where you're coming from on an emotional level. And on an emotional part, I can sit there and be like, you know what, listen, I get why you want to screw him over. I get why you don't want him to have anything back. You don't want him to take away anything because he already stole your heart and broke it. But the thing is, from a business standpoint, you are in the wrong and you know that. You are doing more harm for this company by acting like this off your emotions than if you would just be like, you know what, listen, yeah, I fired you and that was pretty wrong, but you want this character back. I already made a bad decision by firing you. Let me just give back your character. This way it won't be that bad. But that's just me. Um Now the stuff with Connor, the stuff with Chelsea and Adam, there's a lot of stuff that's generally just gonna go over my head. I'm not a parent. And after they talk to the therapist, Adam is very defensive. Chelsea's trying to keep an open mind. At the end of the talk, they blame themselves, right? Their own feelings about what they've done and how that's harmed Connor. Now, again, it's hard for me to sit there and have any sort of emotional investment in the story for a couple of reasons. One, I'm not a parent. Two, I don't think that they actually really did it too right. One of my subscribers, Solomon, was sitting there saying that we didn't sit there and see him breaking down from the beginning. It's like everything happened off screen, and then he comes back, and it's just he's having all this trauma just out of nowhere, and you're just like, it's very hard to sit there and invest when you didn't get to sit there and see this stuff happen from the beginning. Anyway, they go back and forth, blaming each other and everything like that. Adam at the end calls Sharon to sit there and get help before he makes the situation worse. And I thought that was pretty brave of him because sometimes the hardest thing you can sit there and do, especially as a man, is to sit there and ask for help. We tend to like to fix things ourselves, um, and we're very hands on. We like to just get things done. And it's very rare we can sit there and admit that we can't do something. Very rare. But so I thought that was cool. Now, Chelsea's not there talking to Billy about everything like that, about Connor and the situation, and just her worries and her fears. Um, Now, Danny and Daniel are talking about Christine and if she's going to want to go into the tour or not. And of course, Phyllis comes in there and acting like this 12-year-old little high school girl who is constantly sitting there taking shots and jabs at Christine or quote unquote the bug. And I'm just like, the sad thing is that, doing stuff like that does not make you more attractive. It makes you less attractive in his eyes. And that's just something where I don't get. Yeah, you look pretty decent. You look kind of good, but your immature attitude of constantly there throwing stuff at Christine, just like that's so unappealing. It really is. Now they do sit there and talk about Daniel and his firing, and both of them just like they're upset about that for different reasons. Danny is just like usually Lily's more logical to sit there and do something like that, and Phyllis is just kind of upset about the whole thing. She was talking about Summer earlier, which Oof. I'm having a very hard time to actually have any sympathy for her. The way that she is treating everyone else, especially the way she's treating Kyle. That mm, mm. I have no sympathy. There, I said it. I have no sympathy for her because all right, I have a little bit of sympathy for her. Ugh, so tough actually having this thing called a heart. But there's very, very, very little sympathy for her because of the way she's treating Kyle and everyone else. Um, but anyway, they talk about the whole Daniel and Fire situation. Then Danny leaves, and Phyllis sees Nate and Chance, and she walks up to him, and she's like, listen, I'm not feeling this whole Daniel being fired by Petty Betty. Um, and I know, you two fine gentlemen want to sit there and condone and support such a decision like that. And they's like, yo, listen, this isn't your business. Like you work in your division. This is not your division. This is not your business. It's bottom line. And Chance is like, yeah, well, it's above my pay grade, so I don't know. I'm just a middleman. I don't know what's going on. Um, she says what she says, and then she sits there and says she's going to talk to Billy. I'm like, fellas, you may actually wind up making things more difficult for Daniel. Because if Lily gets a hold of this, even if she was sitting there thinking about, maybe I'll just sit there and just give him back his stupid character, whatever. She is in a very emotional state. And Phyllis is the type of person that will drive anyone up a wall on a good day. So she may actually wind up doing more harm for him than if she was to simply shut the up. Like, let's just be honest. Um, Terrible green screen, by the way. Like, y'all really couldn't sit there and just found a park or some outdoor area where Connor could just be for a little bit. Like, seriously, y'all couldn't find anything. Anyway, I feel like that's pretty much about it. I feel like that's about it. Also, I want to sit there and ask anyone here that's watching this video. Also, please share the video, by the way, because it really does actually help. Um, well, in some days where I don't do a stream, instead, I was like, if I don't do a stream one day, I can sit there and do a review on all four of the soap operas. This way, because a lot of times when I do my stream, I think that's actually about it. No, actually, that's not about it. There's actually one more other thing. A lot of times when I do my stream, I do them and I talk about all four of the soaps. There's a lot of times I don't have the time to sit there and do all four soaps. That's number one. Number two, people generally like the General Hospital reviews and the Bold and the Beautiful reviews because I've seen the numbers, right? That's number two. So it's like you gotta give the audience what they want. Number three, an algorithm thing. So YouTube, just a little inside thing, YouTube will only sit there and give notifications 3 times within a time span of 24 hours. 3 notifications. So this is another reason why it would be very difficult for me to do all four the reviews and do a live stream because you're only going to get notified on 3 of them. Yeah, YouTube tends to work against you in that way. I know there's reasons why, but it's just kind of annoying. Um, so I figured it'd be a cool idea if I don't do a stream, I can at least talk about all four of the soaps, and people can just get my opinions on all four of them, as opposed to just not doing the stream. Because that's another reason why I do the stream is that I don't always have time to talk about all four of the soaps, but I do watch all four of the soaps. So we can talk about it and talk about the different characters and stuff. All right. Last scene is with Christine and Danny. Long story short, Christine is not going to go to the tour full time because the client that is asking for her really needs her help. But she did make a compromise. She can go there on the weekends and stuff and kind of see him then. which is totally fine. When you start to think about it, these are grown ass adults that have careers. You can't just sit there, because Phyllis is like, oh, she's, not used to, just living on the edge and just kind of just, flying by the seat of her pants or some reference that she made. But I'm like, she still does have a career. If she wants to continue to have that career, she can't just sit there and just stop, drop everything, and just go on a tour with him like she's some sort of 19-year-old chick. Like, just because, he's still, doing something that most people at his age would probably stop and, kind of find a little more structure and stuff. Let's be honest, doing stuff like that is kind of a young man's game. It's not saying you can't do it, just understand that, she can't just drop everything what she's doing to, kind of hang out with rock stars and stuff. But she made a compromise. She was like, I'll see you on the weekends or whatever. We could sit there and do that. So I think that's actually pretty good and it's pretty fair. Um, I personally do not care about Christine and Danny. And I know, I've seen comments and this saying that, if you haven't watched it from the beginning, you're not going to understand. And on that note, that's very true. But, on some level, here's the thing though. On some level, I do sit there and I look at something like that, and I'm like, but if it doesn't capture the new people, then they're still failing at their job. It's like, yeah, they're keeping the old school people that is enjoying that, but if it's not capturing new fans, then you're not doing your job. This is the problem with a lot of these soap operas sometimes, is that, I was watching Kyrie's live stream, and DC was on there, and I think Kyrie's one of them. Yeah, it was actually Kyrie's. Kyrie's was like, you need to sit. Yeah, that's the word. Kyrie said he was like, you need to sit there and write for these episodes like it's your last. So you need to find ways to make these two interesting enough for me to actually genuinely care. You know, not just for the old school people that have been watching for 30 or 40 years, but somebody like me who's been watching it for 2 years or 3 years. I've lost count. To you know have me interested and invested in these characters. Anyway, I feel like that's pretty much about it. I can't think of anything else. But if I forgot anything, um, write it in the comment section. Let me know what I missed. Also, let me know if that's a good compromise. Because I do like doing Young and Restless reviews. I do. And it's just sometimes numbers just doesn't always, um, one, motivate me, let's just be real. And two, um, read notifications for videos. So I don't even know if people are actually going to sit there and even get this notification. So that's something else that's just working against me. But yes, let me know in the comment section. Also, share this video if you can, because that does help as well. Anyway, with that being said, I'm going to go. I'll see you in the next video. Wow, this video is too long.